Jake here for American Muscle, and today I'm taking a look at the Ford Performance Cobra Jet intake manifold fitting 2011 to 2023 Mustang GTs with the manual transmission. This intake is for the Mustang owner who is looking for the ultimate in performance from their 5.0. If you're drag racing or building a high HP car, this is going to be a big improvement over your stock intake manifold and give you more of the power you're looking for. Now, before we get into it too deep here, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that this is going to require you to make some other modifications to your car, so it's not going to work on an otherwise completely stock vehicle. You'll need the installation kit, a 62mm Ford Performance throttle body, and the Cobra Jet cold air kit or an equivalent one to get this on and functioning properly. This manifold also does not have the provisions to work on automatic transmission cars, so keep that in mind. If you've got a 2-pedal, you're going to have to either swap it out for a manual car or look elsewhere. Developed for the Cobra Jet race car, this intake manifold can take your Coyote engine to new heights. For a racer or the hardcore enthusiast who is looking to take their car to the extreme, this is the way to get it done without having to go forced induction. The Cobra Jet name is a legend in the muscle car universe, and this allows you to bring more of that firepower to your own car without, again, having to go down the road of forced induction. Now, this is designed to work best with cams and ported heads, things of that nature. Basically an engine that's already been breathed on a little bit. And it's going to really turn your 5.0 into even more of a screamer than it already is from the factory. Now, Ford claims a significant increase in power versus even the Boss 302 intake manifold without any loss of torque. So that tells you just how serious this thing is. Now, that increase is due to a couple of things, but the part you might have noticed right out of the gate is just physically how much taller this is. And that means you've got much longer intake runners here. So that's going to allow more airflow and higher velocity coming into the heads from the intake itself. Now, those runners are tuned to make peak power at a huge 7,750 RPM. So again, it's going to be screaming and have much more top end than you'd get from the factory. And like Ford said, no loss of torque. Now, this is compatible with your factory 5.0 fuel rail according to Ford, but of course you are going to need a tune since you're shoveling much more air into the engine. And you're going to want to bump that rev limiter up to make the most of that lofty power band and those intake runners that are tuned above what your stock rev limiter is. So make sure you're getting your list together as you shop for this thing. Once you've got it on and everything is set up though, boy, you're going to be in for a world of difference. I think you're going to like this. As you probably picked up as I picked this up earlier, this is a one-piece intake manifold, just like your stock one. Also like your stocker, this is made from a heavy-duty composite material that's equally lightweight and strong. So this really doesn't have a whole lot of heft to it. So it's going to be able to withstand the engine bay heat without issue, and it's not going to add a ton of weight to your car. Now, this has been tested to 20+ PSI of pressure, so again, it's quite strong. And it also comes with all the intake gaskets you're going to need, both for the inlet side and for the head side of things too. And because this is made by Ford, it's designed to bolt onto your heads, and they even give you all the hardware that you need to get it on as well, plus an extension for your connectors here and an extension for your PCV as well. Now, something like this, especially since it's Ford branded, does not come cheap. Figure on this running you about $1,500, and that is going to be quite a bit more than your stock replacement or even the Boss 302 manifold would run you. However, you're still getting that OEM construction and fitment, and if you want that power, you're got to be willing to pay for it. Power like this simply doesn't come cheap. If you want to maximize your gains and capability out on the track without going to forced induction, this is going to be the way to do it. Installation is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter and should take you about 2 hours to complete. Like I mentioned, the manifold itself is going to bolt right into place on your engine, but you are going to need to get a few other pieces to have the car be fully functional. So plan on having some of those other bits we discussed earlier on ready to go before you go folding this in. That's going to wrap it up here for our review of the Ford Performance Cobra Jet intake manifold fitting 2011 to 2023 Mustang GTs with the manual transmission. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Mustang, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.